But most people don't understand the Dhamma. They are selfish. So most people have a ghost inside. So when they pass away, they go into the ghost realm. One old devotee of mine from Penang, he said many years ago, he had an auntie with a very nasty character, a lot of hatred, a lot of anger. 2 days before she died, she was lying down on the bed. The Pontianak teeth came out so long. The children got a shock. Pontianak teeth. As a human being with a human body, you can see the Pontianak teeth. They try to cover the mouth, cannot cover. Why is it they can see the teeth? Because her character has turned into a Pontianak. Her soul has turned into a Pontianak. And 2 days before dying, the soul is coming out of the body. It's halfway out of the body. That's why you can see the Pontianak teeth. 2 days later, the teeth disappeared when she died. So when the soul came out of the body, left the body, no more Pontianak teeth. So you listen to this, always remember this. Your character determines your soul. And your soul will go off for rebirth according to this type of soul you have, which is determined by your character. So there was a lady who told me the mother died of cancer. When the mother died, maybe the tumor burst or something. She was in great pain. And you could see the face in pain. Then the doctor said she died. But of course she didn't die yet. So 1 or 2 hours later, the doctor saw her. The doctor said her face changed totally. The face was very bright and smiling and very happy. That means she had a good heart. So because she had a good heart, she had a soul that was either going to heaven or somewhere good. So she was very happy. Unfortunately, you see, a few days before a person dies, another world will appear in his consciousness. Just like your TV, you're watching TV3 and you want to feel good channel, you switch to channel 7, another show appears. Another devotee told me, mother also died of cancer. Few days before the mother died, the face was changing into another face, like a ghost face. I became frightened, phoned me. So it looks like that lady, her karma was no good. Going for rebirth as a ghost, turned into a ghost face. Another case, few years ago, I went to one Mahayana center to give a Dhamma talk. And then they told me one of their members, an old lady, had just passed away a few days ago. And they said a few days before she died, every day she was crying. And they asked her, why? Why are you crying? And she said, who has taken away all my clothes? I'm totally naked. But they looked at her, she had all her clothes on. But she saw herself as a naked ghost. So after that she passed away. So it means she's going off for rebirth to be a naked ghost. So all that chanting was wasting her time. She didn't take care of her mind, didn't take care of her character. The same way, when we are dying, a few days before we die, another world appears. And you can see another world. And unfortunately, most people's, what kind of world they see is a ghost realm. Why do most people go off for rebirth in the ghost realm? Because they are ordinary people. Ordinary people, they don't do much evil. If you do evil, you'll go off for rebirth to the animal realm or to the hell realm. If you are just an ordinary person, living an ordinary person's life, you are having it good, You are living the Malaysian dream. Can watch Astro, can go to China for holiday, go to Switzerland, America. Some people fly to Hong Kong for one meal and come back. You have some houses have 3 or 4 cars. We have good food. So every day we are using up our good karma. Do you realize that your life is better than some devas and devis? There are low devas and devis whose lives are like orang asli. They have to hunt, they have to kill every day to survive. Who are these? Nagas, snake spirits, Garudas, bird spirits, Yakas, sun, mountain spirits. That's why sometimes you go and live in these mountain resorts or you climb these mountain areas. Some people get lost. get lost, and people go and search for them. Every day they walk on the path. The corpse is there, they don't see. They don't see because some being is blocking. After about 10 days only, they find the corpse. This happened recently, isn't it? Yeah. So our life is much better than some devas or devis. You don't realize only. So because your life is so good, every day you are using up your blessings. If you don't know the Dhamma, you don't know how to replenish your blessings, you just keep on using your blessings. By the time you die, the blessings is low already. It's not completely finished, but low enough that you won't be reborn as a human being. You have to go to the ghost realm, suffer for some time before you come up again. That's why people who don't listen to the Dhamma, they don't know how dangerous life is. Now you think you are enjoying. A lot of people think, after I die, I didn't do any evil, surely I'll go to heaven. That's what a lot of people think, isn't it? It's not like that. Most humans, after you die, you go to the ghost realm. Even devas and devis, the Buddha said, every day they are enjoying life. Every day they are using up their blessings. And they are not creating any new blessings. After some time, when their blessings is low, suddenly they will die and come down to a lower level. So when most people are reborn as ghosts, they leave the body and they see their corpse, like in the coffin in the house. They don't go away, they hang around, still attached to that body. That's why sometimes around 12 o'clock, if you go near that coffin, you get into problem. Yeah, there are many stories. So sometimes if you know that, sometimes somebody has died, after a few days the body is stiff. You want to change the clothes, very hard to change the clothes because the body is stiff. If you know, you speak to the corpse, you say, Ma, I want to change your clothes, make you look beautiful. Help me, make your body softer. Suddenly the body will become soft. Yeah. This shows the ghost is around. In the Vinaya books, in the early days of the Buddha did not allow his monks to accept robes from lay people. They had to go to the cemeteries, go to the places where they throw rubbish and pick up cloth. And take small pieces of cloth sew into a robe. That's why a monk's robe is like a paddy field. So one day a monk went to the cemetery. He saw a new corpse just thrown there. In the Buddha's days, they wrap the corpse in a white cloth and then they throw the corpse in the cemetery and just leave it there to rot. So when this monk saw the new corpse, he was very happy because if it's an old corpse, the cloth is very smelly. You have to wash many times, put in the sun many times. So he thought it's a new cloth. Very happily he took the cloth, started to unwrap from the corpse. But the ghost was around. So the ghost told him, don't take my cloth. Don't know whether he heard or didn't hear. He continued to take. And then he went off. Then the corpse stood up and followed him. So he ran back to the monastery and went back to his hut, closed the door. And the corpse came up to his hut and fell down. And the other monks saw. And they reported to the Buddha. Then the Buddha called all of the monks and told them, next time you take the cloth from the corpse, wait until the corpse has decayed, has become rotten. Because it is not rotten yet, it's still attached. My body, after it has become rotten, smelly, then it won't attach, it will go off. That shows even Buddha's days this happened. Many years ago, there was a man who told me his experience. Now when I think about it, I think he was a gangster. He said there were 3 or 4 people who wanted to kill him. So when they came, he saw them, he knew. So he ran off and they chased after him. He ran as fast as he could and they ran behind as fast as they could. Suddenly he heard a gunshot, bang. He continued running. After a while, a thought came to him, I must look back. So he stopped, turned around and looked back. He saw his body on the ground. He was surprised, how come he's out of his body? And then another thought came, I must go back. So he returned to his body and he survived. If he didn't come back, after some time, probably he won't be able to go back. So also nowadays, you can see on the internet a lot of stories about this out-of-body experience. Some people, when they dream, there's one Englishman who came to our monastery, he told me at night when he sleeps, he can go out traveling. He used to do it many times, so he tested whether it's real or not, and he found it's real. But there are some people have this out-of-body experience during an operation under anesthesia. Even a doctor also experienced, came out in the internet. And some people, they die for 10 minutes or 20 minutes, either accident or under operation. They die for a while. They come out of their body. And sometimes they feel so nice, no more pain in the body, they want to go away. Some people on the operating theatre, suddenly it seems like they have died. And the doctor is trying to revive them, but they come out of the body and they can see what the doctor is doing. There's a case where a lady was trying to tell the doctor and the nurses, no need. It's not, she's feeling very well now, no pain, no physical body to give her pain. They left the body, some of them they see light, sometimes they see a bright being that shows replay their life, and they're very happy to go off with this being. But then they see their family members crying and they can't bear to go, they come back. So once, if they go, they don't come back, and they are not able to come back. So this is about the soul. So there's a lot of evidence that says there's such thing as this soul. Okay, I'll stop here. Let you all ask questions.
In the Sutta, it doesn't mention the word soul.
Yes. The Buddha said one day in a discourse, the Buddha was walking with his disciples in the forest, and he stopped. Then he took up a handful of leaves and he asked his disciples, which is more, the leaves in my hand or the leaves in the forest? So they said, Bhagavan, the leaves in your hand are so little compared to the leaves in the forest. The Buddha said, in the same way, the things that I know are so much like the leaves in the forest. The things that I tell you are so little like the leaves in my hand. The Buddha said, basically, he only talks about the Four Noble Truths. So what is relevant to get us out of samsara, he talks about it. A lot of things he doesn't want to talk because it doesn't help you to get out of samsara.
This soul is not permanent.
Yeah.
Again, you have different birth, you have different soul.
Say again?
This soul is not permanent. So you have a new rebirth, that means you have a new soul. So every time you have a new type of soul, because it's different from the original soul.
Your last human body, is it the same as the present human body?
Pardon?
Your last human body in the previous life, is it the same as the present human body?
I don't know.
Of course it's not. Of course it's not, because nothing is permanent. Everything is changing.
And what is this soul? It's not
Soul is also a changing body.
the soul
It's a changing body.
is the body with the past karma. The soul contains the thought contains the past karma. But different life, different soul. What about how do they contain the past karma?
How do you contain the past karma now?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's somewhere in your memory,
It means the soul and the memory.
Memory and soul is different. The soul is a body, 5 khandhas, body and mind, just like your present body. Your present body is also changing every day, isn't it? So why you talk about different soul, changing? Even now you are changing every day. Every day you are a different person. Cells are dying, new cells are growing up. 7 years' time, your whole body, all the cells have disappeared, you have replaced them with new cells. There's nothing that is permanent. That's why the Buddha said there's no self. There's no self.
There's no self, but there's an impermanent soul.
Soul is not the self. Soul is the body, just like your human body. I told you the Deva is a soul. The ghost is a soul. The hell being is a soul.
Actually, could we say the soul is one part of the mind?
No. Everything in the world is created by the mind, created by consciousness. You are dreaming. You are now dreaming you are having a human body. Another day you dream you have a soul in the form of a deva or a ghost or a hell being. Everything is a dream in the world. Even quantum physics says that now. Quantum physics says that if I look at this fan, when I see it, it is real to me. When I turn away, it does not exist at all. It exists in my consciousness. There's no such thing as a fan. Only when I see it, the perception of a fan is in my mind. When I don't see it, there's no fan. So just like quantum physics, the Buddha's teaching is a very profound science. A lot of things you ask cannot be answered. It's like you ask quantum physics, why is it like that? Nobody can tell you why is it like that. That's the way it is, Chan Sumedo says. Like in Malaysia, we drive on the left side of the road. Can you ask, why should we drive on the left side of the road? When I'm in America, I drive on the right side of the road. Things are like that. You don't ask why it's like that. You can also ask, why must I die? I don't want to die, why must I die?
What happens to my pets when they die? We're concentrating on human beings.
The Buddha said there are two destinations of rebirth. Once you get in that two destinations of rebirth, you stay there for a very, very, very long time. Animal realm and hell realm.
Bhante, this morning's talk is very helpful, at least to me, and it clarifies a lot of things that I suspect or wrongly held to. I want to ask a question. I've been watching TV on Alan, like America, Holland, I noticed, I saw, there was one girl, around 10 years old. She was singing, there was a presentation. She was singing. In fact, the judges said, you sang like as if you are 50 years old, professional, unbelievable. Then there was a case of tennis, 6 years old. This tennis can play on TV, very intelligent, like professional. So they asked him, how do you remember all the notes? In the competition, when you play, you look at the main script. He said, I started playing, and the notes just come. It's telling me which key to press on, and it's all automatically. And something thinking out thinking, previous slide, that could have brought forward a bit of the characteristics in this particular boy. That's why that explains why the training of people, the more he plays, the more things come. Like the girl singing the voice. And she asked the girl, when do you learn how to sing? How do you remember the operatic notes? She said, I was watching TV. Someone sang this operatic notes. And I tried to follow. Straight away, it just came in and showed me. I think it strengthens this morning's talk. When you say the soul from the previous one, came to this girl, came to this boy. That's why this talent, they call it genius. But it's actually brought forward. It's something like in this life, you add on to what you previously brought with you, and it explains why some of them they can have this basic so early, and they pick it up very fast, like the mathematician. How we can make calculations. So I think I believe what they say, it explains about it.
In fact, I think for a lot of people, our life has a lot to do with previous life. Because of previous life, that we go, in this life we go in a certain direction. Certain things that we do are a continuation of the past life. And why I'm a monk today.
For very old people who do not have a chance to listen to the Dhamma, right? I mean, they order the stage that they're maybe too old. So, is it a bit too late for them in the next life where they are good?
When you are old, usually your character is fixed. So it's very hard to change. If it's your mother or your grandmother, you can try to help by teaching the Dhamma to them. Whatever Dhamma you know, teach to them. There's one lady who told me a few years ago, she took my Hokkien SD card. She gave it to the auntie. She said, when the auntie was younger, she had a very nice character. But now, as she grows old, her character has become a nasty person, bad-tempered and all that. So he gave her my SD card, and because she's Penang Hokkien, she took to my talks quite easily. And after listening for some time, the lady said her character changed back to the old nice character again. So Dhamma is very powerful. There are people with depression, after listening to the Dhamma talks, they cured their depression. There's one old lady, she had anxiety disorder for many years. After she listened to my talks, she listened 3-4 hours every day, and she said she got cured of her anxiety.
Can a ghost enter a human body?
Can, if your mind is weak.
How do you get it?
There's one person who told me some ghost entered his spirit. I asked him, how does it feel? He said, it feels like two persons inside the body. I have one old devotee, he told me before he came to Buddhism, he mixed with Taoist friends. And each of them had gone into this trance, Tong. So they have to sit in the chair and chant the mantra. When they chant the mantra, after some time the spirit comes and enters the body. So this man told me, he sat in the chair, and because his friends said, we all have done it, you have not done it, you must do it. So they forced him to sit in the chair and chant the mantra. So he started chanting the mantra. True enough, the spirit came. But the spirit didn't enter him, entered his friend and scolded him. Said, you are not the type of person to sit here. That shows maybe he's one so cold. His blessings high, his mind is strong, spirit cannot enter him. If your mind is weak, it can enter you. So it's good to learn meditation to strengthen your mind. Especially when you are dying, a lot of people, they are afraid. The last moment they panic. If you learn to steady your mind, when you are dying, your mind will calm down.
You said that we have to increase our blessings. Maybe some people know the answer, but increase the blessing, is it anyway related to our dana, sila, and bhavana?
Yes, there's one way the Buddha put it. Dana is generosity. In Chinese we say, yao lui chut lui, yao lek chut lek. Do whatever you can. But that is the easiest to do. So the merit is least, especially if you give to ordinary people. The Buddha said a long time ago, he was born as a very rich Brahmin. And he did so much dana to so many people. He said it amounted to 84,000 buckets of gold, 84,000 buckets of silver, 84,000 buckets of precious stones, 84,000 cattle, 84,000 pigs, chickens, etc. And the food and the drinks he gave flowed like the river non-stop. But he said in spite of that, the merit was so little. Why? Because there was no person with right view to receive. He said if he had just fed a meal to a person with right view, the merit would have been more. In other words, if he had given to one Arya even a meal, it would have been more than so much dana he did. So sila is more difficult to do. Sila, you don't harm others through your body, speech and mind. So it's more meritorious. And then bhavana is sau hằng. Sau hằng is sau hằng hoài lo. Cõi lên cái hằng hoài, cõi lên cái sinh格. That is hard to do. To get rid of unwholesome states and to develop wholesome states. Because the Buddha said if you want to go to heaven, you got to change your character to be a deva or a devi. So that is hardest to do. So the merit is the greatest.
Say that we don't need to listen to Dharma as long as they can conclude and that is just good enough. You can still save people with life. You know, when you listen to Dharma, you imagine yourself that you are very wisdom, very strong, enlightenment. But there are people who just say they are good enough by just being good. So can you still help people like that?
It may not be good enough.
But they don't realize it.
Yeah.
You try to tell them, but they say, what's the point? I'm just doing good, I do donations, like so they do donations, they think that's good enough, rather than just spending time listening to
Yes.
looking into the sutta and understand everything. So
Eh,
it's because of the past life, they didn't have this kind of blessing this life.
Yeah, partly because of that, and partly because a lot of people are lazy. They say, I don't harm others, why should I do good?
Yeah. Because the moment you tell them just ignore, come and join us. Say, well, I'm doing good every day, I don't harm people. As long as I do donations, I'm happy.
You know, there are some people,
Sad for people like that.
yeah. There's some people like that, huh? After they pass away, they are reborn as a ghost, huh? Then they regret. No? Last time my good friend asked me to come and listen to Dhamma, I don't want this. Then what do? If they are intelligent, they will think, how do I get out of this ghost realm? And some of them will enter another person's body, Q Thong, and cure people. In that way, he gets the merit, then he goes off for a faster rebirth.
So, when we people like that, you just leave them alone, there's no way of telling them.
You can only advise somebody if he wants to listen. If he doesn't want to listen, he might get angry.
As there are ghosts around us, living around us, will sending metta to them sweeter than
Not much. You go to Africa where the people are so hungry, you send metta to them, you think they want? They want food, they're not interested in your metta. There's a lot of silly beliefs. You see, like now, Chat Yit Sam, Ghost Festival, they say the hell doors are open and the ghosts are released. Yeah? In the first place, ghosts don't reside in hell. You don't find ghosts in hell. You find IS terrorists, those people who kill people and all, they are in hell. And if you open the doors, they'll come out and kill you first. Ghosts are everywhere, all around us.
There are people able to see ghosts.
Yeah. Any more?
Why do ghosts disturb people? Why do ghosts disturb people?
Why do some people disturb some people?
One question related to this one is what I've been wondering all the time. In one of our Dhamma teachings, and we will keep here, in one of our Dhamma teachings, we were told about Dhamma protectors. There are some spirits of the higher up realm. Because we are very cultivate wisdom and so on, there are Dhamma protectors. Is there such thing as Dhamma protectors? Like, for example, accidents and all that. For some reason, we just go out of it or we miss it. Is it something very Dhamma protectors? Or people really do it, of course, it never happens. Is it because of the Dhamma?
There are some beings that have been very close to us. For example, your mother or your father or your grandmother. So you have been good to them. They think a lot about you, so they may keep an eye on you. So anything happens, they will try to protect you. What we call Kwai Yen. So those people who have been good too, after they pass away, either they are in the ghost realm or even in the heavenly realm, they may keep an eye on us. Secondly, in India, they believe that every good quality you keep, there will be a deva who looks after you. If you don't kill, there's a deva who looks after you. If you don't steal, there'll be another deva who looks after you, to protect you. If you don't engage in sexual misconduct, there'll be another one. If you don't lie and cheat people, etc., or if you are generous, there'll be another deva to look after you. If you're humble, there'll be another deva to look after you, etc. So the more good qualities you practice, there'll be more guardians for you. But if you have a nasty temper, there'll be an angry ghost following you. They're selfish, there'll be a selfish ghost following you. Birds of the same feather flock together.
When the person dies, normally people have to wait outside or whatever. Does it help?
No, doesn't help. A few years ago in Tapa, one 45-year-old lady and the son, 15 years old, sitting beside her, and an accident, and two of them died. So they employed this Lamalo to kind of enchant for 2 nights, 20,000 ringgit. On the second night, there were many people in the house. Lamalo was chanting. Only 3 people heard the ghost crying. So many people didn't hear. Why? The ghosts will go to those persons who they think can help them, those who care for them. They only go to them. So these 3 people, the next day they came. A few of them came to see me and asked me to do some chanting for these departed relatives. So I told them we don't do this kind of thing. We meditate and we listen to the Dhamma only. Then one of the ladies started crying. And I said, okay. I say, okay, tomorrow in the morning you invite us, 2 of us monks, to come and have breakfast. And then we will transfer merit and do a little bit of chanting. So we did that. 2 weeks later, they came to see me again. They said, one of these relatives is a Buddhist. This man, he sells fruit, this cut fruit, outside a restaurant. So one evening, an old lady came out of the car to eat in the restaurant. When she came out of the car, she fell down. When she fell down, she looked around. She saw these 2 ghosts standing beside the man and told the man, he said, you know, there are 2 ghosts standing beside you. In other words, this lady has got yam yong ngan. So you see, these ghosts purposely made her fall so that they can talk to her, because they make another person fall. That person doesn't know who made me fall. So this man didn't believe. This man asked, what type of ghost? Then he said, one is a lady, about 40-something years old, the whole face blood. Then the younger one is a teenager boy, and his head smashed in here. So when he heard, he got a shock. This is what happened to the nephew. So he asked the old lady to ask them, how did you find me here? So they said, firstly they said, this Dhammalo chant for us never helped us. We went back to the house, wanted to enter the house, also cannot enter the house. So they wanted to look for this uncle. So they went around, they couldn't find. And they asked the Dato Kong, seems some spirit, Dato Kong brought them. So this man asked the old lady to ask them, what can I do to help you? So the younger ghost said, my mother, she go back to the house, she sees the Sanji Pai, don't have a Sanji Pai with her name. So she wants a Sanji Pai with her name. So the man asked, why you want a Sanji Pai? You cannot enter the house, ma. And the young ghost said, my mother said, even though she cannot enter the house, just see her name inside the house also she's satisfied. So later they came to ask me, whether I should do or not. I say, simple thing they want, do for them. You see, if you have wrong view, you go off for rebirth, you still carry the wrong view, So you better have right view now, otherwise you go off for rebirth, you still have wrong view. What can the Sanji do? Sanji Pai do for her? Cannot help her at all,
So even monks told no chanting is no use.
No use. It's your character that determines where you are going for rebirth. How long you stay there is like a prison sentence. Have to do your time.
So, Bhante, what would you advise? When the people die, do they go for burial rites, or they should be cremated and just scattered into the sea?
You have to consult the family. You don't do as you like. Okay, you can stop here. There's no more questions. And there's a Dhamma talk. The ghosts don't come, but Devas and Devis are interested to hear the Dhamma. So we invite them to rejoice with us, and also thank them for keeping our place here safe, so that you can practice here. Follow me, chant after me. Ittavata cham hehi. Sampatam punya sampadang Sabbe deva Sabbe bhutta Sabbe satta Anumodantu Sabba sampati Siddhya Sadhu sadhu sadhu